Good morning, Flosstube. My name is Laura, and I'd like to welcome you to Stitching by the Shore, my channel all about cross stitch with a little bit of paper crafting thrown in too. If you are new, I'd like to say welcome. I'm so glad that you are here. I hope you like what you see, feel comfortable enough to share what you're stitching, and to just join us on this stitching journey. And if you're a returning stitching friend, thank you so much for being here and sharing cross stitch and some paper crafting and just the whole world of crafting with me. I do really appreciate it. So it is the Friday morning after Thanksgiving. I have carved out a little bit of time for myself, and I thought it would be fun to have a little chat. I have pretty much stayed off of most social media for the last few days and just been kind of present at home. So it is so nice to talk with all of you. I don't know if I even went on Facebook yesterday. So I hope for those of you in the US, you had a wonderful Thanksgiving. And if you're not, I hope you just had a wonderful, wonderful day. So let's get started on all of the stitching. Now, a lot of what my stitching you'll see is I had some free time to myself leading up to, so last weekend definitely, and then leading up to the holiday. And then the last couple days, I stitched very, very little. So there's really, luckily, if those were just the days I was looking at, there'd not be much to show you, but I did have some more besides that. And I did sneak in a kind of a full finish. It's Thanksgiving themed, so it's late now, but that's okay. You know, I mean, I'll hang it up on my little hanger thing for now. And then, you know, when I feel like changing them out, I will. So let's get started first with, if you remember, I hosted the very first artist trading card swap in the fall. Well, it still is the fall, but you know, early fall. And I wanted to show you the two that I received. And this first one is called Falling Leaves, and it was by Crystal. Isn't that beautiful? I love the different colors. Oh, it's so lovely. So I have that one. So that can go now into my book of all of my trading cards. And then this really cute one from Christy. Love it. And the pumpkins are just perfect. Kind of matches my whole pumpkin birthday stitch along. So thank you very much to Crystal and Chrissy for participating, and for everybody for participating. In plans, I will give you a little preview of when we might see the next one coming up. All right, so let's just get going in my stitches, I should say. Yeah, I've got this big pile, and let's do it. So this was the rotation, my three-project rotation, one a week, and this is Summer Quaker by Lila Studio. And I am keeping watch because I have seen with the autumn one, it's supposed to be released at any point, right? So I am keeping watch. It won't get started, obviously, this year, but it will definitely be a 2024 start. Super excited to have seen that one. But anyway, this is the first, no, I started spring before this. This is the second one that I'm doing in the series, and I'm not changing much of anything, a few things here and there compared to the spring one, which I'm changing a lot of the colors. The colors I'm keeping the same on this one. So far, I haven't found anything that doesn't really kind of go with the fabric that I'm using. There is a stitch along. Beth, the Steadfast Stitcher, and I are stitching this together, and among lots of other people as well. And if you would like to join us, the hashtag is summerbytheshore, SAL, stitch along. And there's no end date, no start date, just whenever you get to it is fine. I have no idea when I plan on stitching all 4 of them presumably, but I'm just not sure when they'll all be done. And if you do show something, please, especially like on Instagram, please tag me, because I would love to see it. Now that the hashtags don't really work on Instagram, the tagging really helps for me to see it, because I just really don't see much of the hashtags anymore. All right, so you know what? I'm going to keep it folded because I haven't gotten to the other half of the fabric yet. I didn't cut this specifically to size. I think this was the size I had gotten from Stephanie, because this is a Fabrics by Stephanie. But so let me show you far away. This is 18 count Nantucket Sky by Fabrics by Stephanie. And I did get a shipping notice from Stephanie, so I am getting my birthday present to myself from Stephanie is coming, and hopefully next week I will be able to show you. Let me actually even put this a little bit more. Okay, so, oh, I think this guy needs a little eyeball, but other than that, I did finish that up because I had, I think, more coloring to do. And this is the one that, these crabs, but I did add some more. I figure each time I work on it, if I do a strand or two of something, they'll eventually get done, right? And I had to, oh, I did have to finish this. This was, it's a beautiful element. I love it. And it's pretty consistent stitching. You know how sometimes you have to really kind of, you get kind of confused, or I do, with some of the Quaker patterns, but this one was really fun to stitch, actually, because it had a consistent plan, and I love how it looks with the flowers. So I did have to finish all of that, and then once I did that and I did some of the crab, I did do some more of the, I guess it's seaweed border that's coming up. I have not been able to get into a groove with that. Just, I've tried a few different ways to kind of do it. So I think at this point what I'll do, just like the crab, is when I pick that up, maybe do a strand or two and just keep working on it. And then in the meantime, I kind of went to this next element right here. So you can see that that center block is going to be big block. So I still have quite a ways to go here with the seaweed, and I do have it finished on this way. So I am totally done on this side. So now I can start going with that. I haven't decided. I know some people have done the block first. Some are doing it last. Oh, I love this fabric. I haven't decided what I'm doing. I might just do bits and pieces as we go. I am not stitching. There are a couple of clouds in here, and I'm not going to stitch them because I feel like this fabric really kind of, it shows kind of the movement of clouds. The sunshine that is here, I think the clouds cover it just maybe slightly, so I just have to add a few stitches for that. And then I will be eventually changing the mermaid, but that's a long ways off. So when I get there, I'll show you. So this is now, I did actually use this for categories for Whip Warriors, and I will talk about categories in my plans, but there's a boat and the letter was B, and I think it was transportation. So I was able to put that in. That gives me 4 prompts. For anybody, you know, wondering about categories, I have never done all 12 ever. I think my most might have been 9. And I just do the ones that I can that come to me. And if they don't, I don't worry about it. So don't feel like, oh, if you just joined Whip Warriors, for example, and you're looking at it and you're saying, I don't think I could do all 12 prompts. They haven't kicked me out yet, and they've accepted my answers as is. So feel free, you know, to jump along and do that. And, you know, ask away if you have questions about it. Alrighty. So that was, I have my 2 stitch along pieces, one after the other. That's kind of convenient. And of course, this next one is also with Beth, the Steadfast Stitcher. When I made my notes, I always put down, for example, you know, as I'm talking, I might write down the Flosstuber's name, so I'll know to link. I just put Beth's name down before I even start the videos because I know I'm going to be talking about her. Alrighty, there we go. This is called Librarians House, and is from Stone Street Stitch. And we are doing this together, and it's hashtag librariansamplersal, S-A-L. So once again, if you do stitch this, please link me. Beth is holding true to the colors of the original design, and I am changing it a bit. So that will be really cool to see when her and I both finish, whenever that may be. I've got a long way to go, frankly. It'd be really cool to see them side by side. And here I am. Look at this fabric. This is 18 count Darling David from Those Missing Stitches. And you know me, I am all about brights and colors and this and that, but I love a good neutral too. And I'm loving this fabric. I went on to the Those Missing Stitches site, and she was taking a break because I was getting ready to place another order. So I'll have to keep my eyes open when she opens again, because this may be something I ordered just to have in my stash because it is just quite beautiful. I changed quite a bit, and I will have to start putting that in the notes. Oh, and speaking of notes, so last week Connor needed my laptop because it just has died and or wasn't working. I'm not really sure, and there's still a lot of work. You know how leading up to Thanksgiving, right after Thanksgiving, of course, teachers give all sorts of stuff. And I'm like, why? Let the kids just have a little bit of a break. But anyway, there's lots of work to be done. So my laptop is not mine right at the moment. Well, I think I'm getting it back. So I did not actually do any of the notes. That's the long version of what I was trying to say from last week's video. If I can find myself a groove and I can go back and look at the notes I made from last week's video, because I try to make notes when I do these, then I will hopefully try to fill in. If I just don't get to it and you have a question from that video, reach out to me and I will do my best to find an answer. But anyway, this right here is changed quite a bit. One of the few colors I did keep is where you see all of the red. That's 221 and I love it on this fabric. The border is changed. The color of the birds has changed. Those flowers have changed. That blue is not in, that was something I introduced into this pattern altogether. I changed the greenery that you're going to see around. The house is going to be different. So the roof part is the called for red, but then the color of the house, I think I'm going to do the same blue because I really like how the blue and the red really go together. I think the brown that you see as well, that brown, which is also over here, and I believe over here, that is also the called for. So I punched up a few of the colors. I changed the greens that were called for, and then like I said, I've added the blue. So I have to sit down. I don't know if it's a like for like all the way through. I'm not sure it will be, but I know like the border, for example, completely changed that. I think it's the navy. Is it 839? So there's some things I can do, but this might be one that I won't have a full color plan until I'm finished with it. And if you would like to know what I'm doing, feel free to ask, and you are certainly welcome to it. I love this so much. So that's where we are with that. And I just pull it out. This one has got, I love the chunks of this one. And so sometimes as I'm flipping through to try to decide what to work on a given day, or if I do some pre-planning for the week, I love that one and pull it out fairly often because I love the colors. I love the fabric I'm using for it. And you can get just a nice chunk. If you only have a little bit of time, you can do a little bit or this, that. So it's just a really fun stitch if you thought about it. Stone Street is, for being, as I would say, primitive, I don't know, but in my mind, compared to a lot of the patterns you'll see from me, which is not something I generally do a lot of stitching, there's something about the patterns from there that just call to me each and every time. And I've stitched two or three so far, and I enjoyed each and every stitch I've done from them. This one has got some color changes as well. This is Grateful Quaker from the Heart Needleart by Wendy. You know that in November I had mentioned that I was doing some stitches that were kind of to think about gratitude and maybe mentioned gratitude, or I might have thought of something that I was grateful for as I was stitching something. This one is gratitude itself because it says it grateful, thankful, blessed in the pattern. I just haven't gotten there yet. I have changed. The green is so far you haven't seen all the changes yet. The two browns I am going to change. I'm not 100% sure on my choices, so that is definitely a work in progress, but I changed the yellow and I changed the red called for, and then all of this green is all I think it's 936. Yeah, it is. And for the orange, not the orange, that's yellow. I used 729 instead of 3828. And for the red that you're seeing, I used 3777 versus 919, which was a bit more coppery. I think I wanted the red instead. And this fabric right here is 18 count Poetic Ponyboy, and it is also from those missing stitches. And I could easily have done this against like a Friendship Green or a Nantucket Sky or light blue or light green, but for some reason, the more neutral color was calling me on this. And I think because I'm punching up those colors, I think it's going to look nice because they're going to be a little bit darker against this color fabric. So that's where I am right now. Not a huge amount. I am not a seasonal only stitcher, so it's not like, okay, November's ending, I won't work on this kind of thing. I can work on it at any given time, pulling it out. And I'm enjoying it so far. I enjoy the colors, and I'm enjoying the choices I've made with it. So you could easily see that at some point, not just this time of year. Alrighty, I'm going to show you my full coverages. I have 2 this week, back to back. They're definitely going to get more time. Nope, this is not the one I did. Here we go. Because again, the last few days, if I did pick up any stitching, it was a small piece. I wasn't pulling out the full coverages. Generally, where I stitch the full coverages, we have got company staying, so I've kind of just stayed away from them. So they most definitely will get at least another week, and I'm enjoying stitching them. So I'm kind of throwing my guidelines of like the 10 days or the 1,000 stitches out the window, and I'm going to stitch on both of these, I think, until I feel the need to change, or I feel something else like saying I absolutely have to stitch. You'll see in my shopping, I did buy some full coverages. So yeah, there could be more starts for full coverages coming. This one here is from Stitches So Beautiful, and it is Lazlo Koday 1. So the artist is Lazlo Koday, and Stitches So Beautiful is who charted it. And there are no other names. I think it's just one, Lazlo Koday 1 through 6. I think there are 6 different patterns. So this is the one I chose. I'm stitching this along with my friend Amy, and I really, really am enjoying this. You did see this last week slightly. There's not a huge amount of difference, but I did start adding another color. So I thought it would be fun to bring that in to show. We've started the moon, I know. It's a little underwhelming, but this is 18 count white Aida, 2 strands over 1 full cross. That's how I have currently been doing all of my full coverages. I think the only thing, I love it. I really enjoy this size, and I don't mind the full cross. I know it's going to take me longer. The only thing that may have me trying something a little bit smaller, I did get myself a piece of 20 count white, is if I want to make the size of the stitch a little bit smaller, because even on 18 count, a lot of these are huge. So I did continue here. I came down here. There's a couple symbols that I was able to finish. I think this kind of lighter purplish I finished. I do have had some mistakes. There's actually 2 different yellows there. The 2 symbols for those, or one of the symbols for the yellow, it was a 9 in a boxed square, like a bolded out square, a black square. Well, next to it was a 9 in a black bolded circle. And in my brain, I only saw the 9, not the shape. And so I started stitching both those 9s. So I did have to do a little bit of pulling out. Luckily, I noticed it before I really had moved on, and I was able to take out what I needed to quickly. But I am enjoying this. I would really like to, as I do some more, I know I've got some fill in here and some confetti. I don't do my full coverages completely like others, in the sense I don't fill in a page or a box before I move on or anything like that. I kind of just go where the wind takes me, so to speak. And if I want to do this way, I will. Or if I want to continue down, I will. Or I just want to do the sun, I'll get to the confetti eventually. It's just whenever it happens. But I would like to add some more color here. That would be a lot of fun. And once I get that done underneath the sun, now we start next to this tree. There's one of the houses. So that's a lot of fun too. I'm looking forward to getting into some of that as well. I just love the bright, fun colors of this piece. So that's where it is. And yes, most likely you will see at least another week's worth on this one. And then I'll reevaluate when we come together next time. Then, where is it? Now I started this, and I know the colors are wrong, so I know it. I get it. they don't make any black dragons in any of these patterns. I started this before I knew anything about Fourth Wing. But now that I've read Fourth Wing and Iron Flame, I feel the need to stitch all the dragons. And I currently only have one dragon full coverage. Stay tuned. There may have been a few purchases. This one right here is called Mini Until the End. So I did buy the mini on this, and it is charted by Heaven and Earth Designs, and it is artwork by Rose Kahn. Rose Kahn, I believe, is the same person that did the Magic Library that you'll see people stitching. One that was a limited edition color scheme, and I think those were the purples. And then there's one that was available, I think still, that's a rainbow. And I do have that version, but I have the regular size, and it's huge. We'll see if it ever gets stitched. But I just love this way before I even, like I said, started reading the books. I love the colors, and it just seemed a lot of fun. And now that I've gone back to, when I read the Fourth Wing, I kind of got back into, you know, that kind of genre. And so now I am currently rereading Sarah J. Maas, and just I'm looking forward to doing some more reading with those and enjoying that. And I did quite a bit of reading this week, actually, which also cut into my stitching time. At night, for example, I was tired and I just wanted to read rather than stitch. It's easier on my eyes. Here I am. Let's see. Oh, you know what? I gotta open this just a tiny bit more. So in the scheme of full coverage, it's not the hugest one you'll ever see, but it's big enough. And I am deliberately doing quite a bit of filling in of the colors. I want to say this color you see, the farthest one that's a shade of blue, I have almost exclusively been stitching that color, and it, you know, bringing it all the way down, filling in, and now I've got to go, I had kind of worked this way, so now I have to kind of go back this way with it. And I think it's going to be a while before I don't know how far down it is before I get to the dragons, but it's fun. They're fun shades of blue. I'm enjoying it. And again, I don't know how I'm working these in, the two full coverages in with my regular other stitching, because I do like other stitching as well. I would never just do full coverage. I think I need the different changes in my brain, but I love it when I am into it. I don't know how I'm going to work that yet between the two, how I will figure that out. Especially because when I'm working on a piece for 10 days, I kind of spread out the colors I'm working with, and where I am sitting, there's kind of like a windowsill. And for those few days, I keep the colors out. But when I have two, I can't do that. But since I'm only basically working on one main color on this one, it's been pretty easy so far. So we'll see how all that works. Again, you know, everything is always trial and error, but I love this piece. And even beforehand, I loved it with the colors and everything. So again, I'm not going to give it up until I feel the need to, or I feel the call for something else. Okay, so those were the full coverages. Let's go back into non-full coverages now. This one is my Autumn Quaker by Jardin Prive. I really would like to get this one finished this year. I haven't blocked huge amounts of time with this, but especially if next year I would like to start the Lila Studio Autumn Quaker, it'd be real nice to get this one finished and get that series done. And then I can, you know, I can scrapbook them and do whatever. But I need to get going on this. So here I am. This is 18 count, what is this called? Soft Peach by To Dye For Fabrics. It's more peachy than it's showing there. That's showing kind of a very light orange, I feel like. In person, oh, wait a minute. I thought I had it somewhere. In person, it is definitely a little bit brighter because the 4 in this series are kind of bright colors. 823 is being used for this one as well as the other 3, where that's what was used. And I am slowly plugging away on this border and side. I finished the alphabet. I think I may, the shape of the mushroom kind of bothers me a little bit. So I might change that, either change the shape a little bit or put something else there, a leaf or whatever. I'd like to fix that a little bit, frankly. So that kind of stymied me there, because I was thinking about what I was going to do here, whether I was just going to change the mushroom, which I just might, we'll see, and kind of go from there. But this is great because it's my monochromatic. I love doing it. I have plans for a different series that I'm going to make monochromatic that I would like to do in 2024. So it sure would be nice if I could start getting that one finished, and then I can move on to the next one. Alrighty. This is the series. Let me show you the series before I show you which one I'm working on. This is the set of, I don't know if they're autumn gnomes or what they're called. Mine is called, I'm calling it, I've make up names sometimes for these because they have Etsy titles. This one right here, November Gnome, is what I'm calling that one. I am not stitching the background square because I chose a fabric that will kind of mimic that. And I love these. I love the coloring of these. They do such a great job of mixing and matching the DMCs that it really comes alive. And I noticed it with the leaves, and I notice it, this flower is just, I think it's completely done, but I worked a lot on the berries, plus I'm filling in all of the hat, kind of, because then I've got quite a bit of beard and so on and so forth before the stuff on the side. But I looked at the berries this morning after I'd ironed the piece, and they really pop. I do have to do the centers of each of the berries, so they're not 100% done, but in person, the different details in the elements of the floral pieces, and I noticed that with the sunflower gnome that I finished this past year, it really is amazing. And it's all DMC and just different colors, and I just love how the colors have been mixed and shaded, and really, really pretty. This is 18 count Buttercream from To Dye For Fabrics. It is a beautiful kind of very light yellow, and it is another one that I really like as a good backdrop for these. Obviously this is dark, kind of bright darks, autumny kind of colors, and I thought this really worked nicely. And obviously so did the artist that these came from, in the sense of that the box was basically this kind of color. So that's where that one is right now. Again, I have a winter gnome and I have a St. Patrick's gnome. So this one could go away, but I'm enjoying it, especially kind of the colors and what I'm looking at. And I think I would like to kind of start tackling the beard a little bit. So you might see that again at any given time. I decided to keep the two gnomes together. This one did not get as much work this week. This is my kind of monthly focus piece that I'm trying to do a couple strands a day on. And this is called McChristmas. So let me show you. That's the title. That's the logo for Cariad, C-A-R-I-A-D, cross stitch designs, and they are on Etsy. And that's where you get the patterns from if you wanted to look, is from Etsy. There's not Etsy, I'm sorry, they're on Facebook, my fault. If you just look for Cariad, C-A-R-I-A-D, cross stitch designs, they have a group. You join it, you look through the albums, and you just email them to let them know what you would like. And then they send you an invoice. I am in gray wasteland right now. And I have to admit, I'm finding it hard to stay focused on it. So I guess the daily kind of aspect of this is good. Like I said, yesterday and Wednesday, I know I definitely didn't stitch on it. I'm not sure if I did on Tuesday. Before that, I did give it its bit a day. But there are so many different shades of gray, and it's gonna go on forever. I'm way up here in the gray, that I'm kind of faltering just a little bit on it. And I know I'll work my way through it, and it'll be so cool when it's done. But that doesn't stop right now being a little bit in the weeds. But this is 18 count Lotus from Bestitchme. So it's a very pale purple. I'm not sure that's coming across on the screen very well. And I have been, if I'm doing like, say 2 strands, I've been picking a symbol, and then I've been just finding it wherever I can, and I've been kind of going like that. I do have a little bit of confetti on the edges with some of those other colors. I may wait until I get underneath the beard, obviously, is the bottom of the kind of plaid outfit, so to speak. So I may wait to pull those in until I have to pull those colors again. Or I might just say, I need something that's not gray, and do it. So we'll see. But I would like to, my goal was to do this as a focus for November. So today is the 24th. So I could have one more week, essentially, of working on this, and then put it away and find something else to be the focus piece. And maybe next Christmas I can try to think about it as being a goal for a finish, but I'm not really sure on that one. I guess we'll just have to wait and see how I'm feeling with it. Alrighty, so next, I've got all of my things here. I'm not sure where to put anything. I'm just going to show you the front cover of the fall issue, the 2023 fall issue, Punch Needle and Prive Stitcher magazine. This was the piece I'm working on, but I'm only working on the turkey. I'm not doing any other parts of it. It is charted by Croccette Gogo. And I don't have much. I did a little bit more this week, but I was planning on stitching turkeys on Thanksgiving. I have this one, and I have the Cottage Garden Samplings turkey. Turkey Day, I think it's called. Didn't stitch on a turkey at all. It was, yesterday was busy, and then I did do a little bit of stitching, but I ended up doing something else instead. And in the end, I read after dessert and everything was done. I decided I wanted to just have a kind of a reading sort of night. So I read. So that's what I have. This is actually cool because it's almost like a purplish, but it will come off as almost brown, which is really kind of neat. So I didn't do much. This is 18 count. I'm thinking oatmeal. And this when this is done, I don't know if I'll make it a circle ornament. I'll make it an ornament, basically. Whether I don't know what the shape will be eventually. But if I'm looking for a small, I could see pulling this out during the year, even though Thanksgiving now is over. Because it'd be fun. Especially given, I can't wait to tell you, I've come up with a plan for, well, pseudo plan for next year. And I'm so excited about it. And I can't wait to tell you. So that would be fun to get that stitched and finished. All right, the very last piece of stitching that I have is November's Chrysanthemum. I have to really think when I say that because otherwise I kind of tangle my words. And this is from Cottage, is it Cottage? Yeah, it's Cottage Garden Samplings. I have started all 12, and now starting with this one, I am going back and doing a second round. This won't be finished for this year, for this November. Sometimes I pull them out if there is a prompt for one of the stitching games that would work. Otherwise, I'll just stitch on it in the course of the year. And I got some good progress. I'm happy with my progress. I still have to go back. Both of these flowers only have one color, but I think what I'm going to do so far, there's a second color listed in there that's going to be a fill-in. There's one more flower, it's a third flower, and what I'd like to do is do that same outline color, and then I think that second color is going to be super easy to fill in. So you have the third flower, the greenery here. This border is going to be fairly easy, and then, you know, you've got the bottom border here in the words. And I talked to you last time, I think I showed that, the last time I showed this, I talked about how I was stumbling with the words. So in this series, every single one of them, the words have two different colors. They're opposing colors of some sort. This one happens to be kind of a green and a brown. The green wasn't my favorite. I think it was 471. The brown worked in pretty good. Let me see if I can. No, it's 732. But it wasn't my favorite green, but I was going with it. And then, but the thing is too, the different letters a lot of times are different colors. So you're kind of stopping and starting. There might be 2 and 1, so you can go, but then you got to stop because it'd be another letter or another color. And one of you wonderful helper suggested, or people suggested, I don't even know the words at this point. I'm full of vegetables from yesterday, full of all the sides. We had a lot of sides. Suggested, well, maybe do a variegated floss and just do that one color, and it will go faster. And you are brilliant. You are brilliant. Now, if you've known me for quite some time, stitching wise, you know that I very rarely use variegated flosses. I'm not always the biggest fan of the look kind of with it. It's not my favorite look. It looks cool, but it's just not my thing. And I found a lot of times with words, I really hesitate with variegated because my eyes, if you do the dark with the light, I can't read the words. I'm not sure why, but as I'm doing it, I have a lot of trouble doing that. So I was thinking to myself, and I had gone to Michael's and I had picked up, and I'm trying to figure out what color I used, a floss, you know, the DMC variegateds. And I picked it up and I decided I didn't quite like it. It was a little bit too purpley. Did I leave it in here or did I put it? I had it in the bag because I was going to go with it. And I think I put it away because it was a little too purple. And then I was looking at what I had in my stash of colors because I had kitted up. I have a Satsuma Street, you know, one of they're square blocks, and you know it's a big square, and then they have like the 9 different, and they're different seasonal ones. I have the winter one, and quite a few DMC variegateds were called for, and I placed an order and had gotten them. And so I had those all together still. And I was looking, and DMC 4135, and it's a mess. It came off the thing a mess. So it's nothing but a big giant mess, for want of a better word at the moment. Had different shades of brown. And I said, you know what? That might work. So I don't know if you can tell. I actually had the first words already stitched, plus that, I think it was of as well. And so when I came down here and I started stitching with that variegated floss, and I really liked it. Now, I don't do it necessarily the way you're supposed to. I don't do the 2 strands. I pick one long and I'm just folding it over because that way it kind of mixes it a little bit. Because normally I wouldn't necessarily stitch every X. I'm not a single X stitcher normally. If I can go across and then go back, I do. Because of the way this is, there's only like a single stitch, and then I have to keep stitching a single stitch to get to the next section. So I am doing almost X by X on this one. That's just by accident purely. But if you come up, it's just different shades of the brown, and it plays off the different browns in the piece. So I'm actually really, really enjoying it. So thank you, a huge, huge thank you. I cannot remember who suggested it, but you're brilliant. Thank you so much for that suggestion, especially because, you know, this is going to dark brown to kind of a deep russet to a kind of a copper. So it's not ever getting really super light. I think we've done the spectrum at this point, and it's going to work. I'm able to read it, even though it's kind of different shades. It never got light enough that I can't read it. I am enjoying it so much too, because now all I do is just go from letter to letter, and I don't have to worry about switching colors. That I'm looking now, I'm going to go back, and when I do next year, each month, obviously, one of the things I'm going to stitch is the monthly pieces. And some of them, I think I have the words almost done. So I'm just going to finish as is. If I have barely started the letters, I've only gotten a little bit, I'm going to probably pull them out if I can find a variegated that would be gently variegated, I guess is the best way to put it. Not starkly variegated, but just a gentle variegation, and that has a little bit of variation in color, and that would make it so much easier to stitch the letters. Because as I've gone along the year here, I've been kind of not doing the letters because I definitely am not enjoying the stopping and the starting as much as the other parts of the piece. So now that I have this option, I know January is almost done. So I know January would stay the way it is. But some of the other ones most definitely could, you could see me doing a change on that and picking out kind of a variegated. So I'm excited about that. All right, more to come on that one as we get into next year. All right, so that is the stitching projects. I did have one full finish, and you know that because I have a Hirschner's tree. Oh no, that's just the, I thought I had gotten a glue, but that's just the fabric. I have a couple shelf units, kind of like the floating shelves, but I had Mo put hooks underneath, which I love. And so I've been able to put a bunch of things hanging. Each shelf has 7 hooks, and I have 2 shelves. So I have 14 hooks that I can hang things from, which is really kind of cool. So I've been really enjoying doing ornaments when I get the chance to. I stitched this. This was probably stitched back when I started. If not in 2020, I started back, right? I came back to stitching after a huge break in, I'd say about August, September of 2020. I either did it then or at the sometime early-ish 2021. I know this is a Bent Creek pattern, and I think I was exploring small patterns rather than just, back when I stitched 30 years ago, I was doing bigger patterns and this and that. Not full coverages, but just big pieces. And so I explored and started the land of smaller pieces. And in fact, this is actually a coffee tea dyed piece of Aida. I even tried doing that, which it was fine. I just don't see me doing a lot of that because I don't need a lot of it to begin with. And Vintage Country Mocha is so nice that I'm not sure it's worth the effort and the time and the mess in the end. But I pretty much, like I like to do, my ornaments are very simple. Most of my finishing is very simple. I just like to keep the elements, and what I do is the colors that I back things with or whatever, I try to really accent and pull out colors that are in the stitched piece. And I just keep it at that. That's pretty much where my focus is. So this fabric, you can see, I ended up going with a deep orange-y, copperish kind of look. And then I had this wonderful, I think it's terracotta from Paper Tray Ink, stitched ribbon, words. And so I just put that as a hanger on top. I decided to keep it a very tight hanger. I'm enjoying that look on some of my pieces, especially the ones going on the hook underneath the shelf. And then I just put some felt on the back. Nothing pretty on the back. I mean, in the way they're going to hang on against the shelf, I really wouldn't need anything, but it just finishes it off. That felt that I get for the back of my pieces, I just get from Michaels. It's the thin craft felt. When you see me putting felt behind, I have been starting to find felt in other places. And when I use it, I will tell you where I got it from. I wanted to have a Christmas piece finished, an ornament, and this week, but I don't have the felt, and I really wanted to do a felt backing. I don't have the colors that I need. So I think I'm going to look for some weekend sales and see if I can pick up some different colors of felt. So that's where it is. Yes, the holiday is over, but I'm still going to hang it up. It's got the fall colors. It matches some of the other fall pieces I've got on the shelf that's right here to my left. And yeah, so I got a full finish. Alrighty, so that also was some of my crafting time this past. I did that, I think, before everybody came company-wise, and got a chance to get some of that in. So that is it. That is the stitching. So we're going to talk about plans, and we're going to talk about shopping and go from there. So plans. I am super excited about my plans. First off, I'm going to finish for the end of November. I want to finish categories. I've got 4 pieces, 4-letter B pieces that I've been working on. I will probably do some more of Harvest Star Tea because that was B for Bird. And then I may go back and do some of Black Vintage Sampler, even though that's not the week for it. This coming week is Spring Quaker week, but I might just pull out both. We'll see how that works. I may not pull out Summer Quaker as well. That would be a lot of the triple pieces. And what's the last one? I can't remember. And I think at this point, I might just focus on those 4 to get my requirements for the event rather than trying to look for more. If something falls into my lap, hey, I'm all for it. I'll do it, but we'll see what happens. Generally with Whip Warriors, which remember is open right now. If you'd like to check them out, they'll be open to the end of the year. It's about a 1,500 stitch requirement, so to speak, participation in the course of a month, which is, they kind of think of it as like 30 minutes a day. And so you can also do, in some things, you can do hours as well. It's not always all stitch count if you're worried about that. So I stitch way more than that in the course of a month, but towards the games themselves, that's kind of what they ask for. So I will see where I am in that. And I mean, they don't count each and every stitch. I don't have, I mean, you do a before and an after, but I don't see them taking the time to count each and every one. But I do try my very best to make sure it's over, whatever. So, so that's my focus for next week, partly. And then I can't believe I'm planning for December and 2024. Super, super excited. First, 2024. Let's talk about that first. I have been inspired. My birthday this coming next year is 55. So it's kind of one of those big numbers, right? Or I was going to say even number, but no, it's not it's not an even number, but it's kind of that break, right? Where you talk about actual numbers. And so this past year, Beth, the steadfast stitcher, she did 60 starts for her 60th birthday, and she's only got something like 3 left. It's amazing. If you watch her most recent video, she shows you the very few last starts that she has to go before she hits her goal. And I was also watching, I'm going to put down Sarah, Sarah, and she is turning 50 next year, and herself and another person have gotten together, and they're going to do 50 new starts for their 50th. And if you go to Sarah, she's talking about it. She kind of explains her plan. She, in this video and the previous one, she started to talk about it, I believe. And so it's a lot of fun. Sounds great. I can't wait to see her progress and how she goes about it. Well, you know me. I start 55 starts is not anything that's unusual. I think I'm at 62 starts this year. And I think last year, if you count, I had a lot of littles, a lot of littles. I was something like 77 last year. So for me, that's not necessarily something different or new. I'm starting to pull patterns for next year. I don't know how many I will pull. And then I also leave myself open interpretation for new pieces. So I decided 55 new starts wasn't anything different than what I do normally. So then I said, well, what about 55 finishes? And I was a bit concerned about that one. I think this year I'm coming in so far at 30 finishes, and I have another, 5-6 weeks of the year. So I'm hoping maybe I can get another finish or two, but for the most part, 40 finishes would be kind of somewhere where I would be, because yes, I do some smalls, but no, I'm not going to just focus on smalls for the year, because I like doing my bigger pieces, whether they be full coverage or not. I plan on starting some more of those with, for example, Autumn Quaker from Lila Studio and some more full coverages. So I felt like 55 finishes might be a bit too reaching, and I didn't want to put that kind of stress on myself. This is just for fun. So I said, well, what about full finishes? I have a drawer and I'm looking at it right now, and that's where all of my stitched finishes are. What if I did 55 full finishes? That's possible. I went through the drawer, and I might not currently have 55, but you know I'm going to finish stuff next year. I mean, whether it's trading cards or ornaments or some other pieces that I want to finish and so on and so forth, I think I could do this. So for 2024, I am going to plan to do 55 full finishes. I need a really good hashtag for that, and I am out of ideas. You know, you've got the 4 F's there. I don't know if I can play that into it or what. So if you are really smart with those kinds of things and come up with a great hashtag, because I could just do hashtag 55 full finish, but you know, as creative as I am in some ways, other ways I just don't see it. So if you have something, I would love to hear it. If you'd like to join me, and you know, maybe you do 24 full finishes because it's 24 and 24 if you don't want to do 24 starts or whatever. But if there is something that you'd like to do that has to do with full finishes, and hey, if you want to join me with 55, let's do it. Think about it. All right. That leads me into December. In December, I'm currently now starting to think about, obviously, plans for next. So that's my overreaching goal, right? 55 full finishes. But I'm also thinking about what I'm starting and, you know, what kind of things I'm going to do for next year. So that leads to Flossmas, right? Last year, I did not do, there's a lot of people that do every single day videos. And boy, bless you if you do that, because that is a lot of work. Even if it's only a 10-minute video, that's getting things together, filming, uploading, putting it on, you know, there's a lot to that. And there's so much stuff out there to watch that it almost becomes overwhelming. I know I can't watch every single person's everyday video. And so last year, I think I did 5 or 6 Flossmas videos. And so I thought, well, that worked really well. It was, you know, sometimes it might be 2 extras a week, but mostly like an extra a week or something. And I know for my plans, you'll see a project parade. So that, of course, will be one of the extra videos. I will pick out all of the patterns that I do want to start for next year, and I will do a video about that. We're definitely going to do a trading card video because there's an upcoming swap for the beginning of next year. So that will be probably one of the very first Flossmas videos I do to give you as much notice as possible. We're going to do a scrapbook flip through because I know so many of you are looking forward to that, and I am too. And number 5 right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out that drawer of all of my finishes, and we're going to go through and I'm going to show you all the finishes that I'm hoping to potentially fully finish next year. And some of them I don't 100% know, but quite a few of them I know, okay, this is going in the scrapbook, this is being framed, this is going to go as an ornament or whatever. So we'll have fun talking through all those and showing you those. Some of those pieces, if you're new, you probably have never seen me finish them. If you've been with me since the beginning, some of them you probably haven't seen in almost, well, over 3 years, right? Depending if I finished them in, say, early 2020. It'll be almost 4 years. So I think that would be a lot of fun. And that gives me a chance to see what I have and what I need to finish. And it will kind of, 55 finishes, right, is kind of an average of a finish a year for a week for the most part, right? But with some extras, and maybe I have a finishing week where I just go crazy, and that buys me some time if I don't know what I'm doing with some other ones. But I thought that would be a lot of fun. So that'll be 5 Flossmas videos that I can think of. If I can think of another one, I will do it. Last year I did my trees, a tour of my crafty Christmas trees, but they're not going to be much different because I didn't get a lot of extra new ornaments on them this coming year. That'll be next year with my finishes. I know I have at least 5 Christmas ornaments that need to be fully finished. So I don't know. My craft room at the moment is, I have so many things and projects I want to do and a lot of stuff out that doing a craft room tour, I don't know, because I don't know how helpful it'd be at the moment because it's still, things aren't, I wanted to give suggestions on how to store certain things. So I don't know if that's a viable video this time around. I'm not sure. It'll be one of those that, you know how they say if you wait to have kids, you'll never have, until you're ready, you'll never have kids, right? Because you just kind of sometimes have to do it. So that might be my craft room tour. If I wait until it's just the way I want it, I don't know if it's ever going to be just the way I want it. So we'll see. But that's some ideas for Flossmas. So I'm super excited about that and what December will bring. I am attending the Jingle Ball the first weekend in December. I did not attend last year. I think I had stuff going on and I just wasn't sure as whether or not it would be, I would feel like I should be in one place versus the other because I had things going on. But so many people talked so glowingly about it that I said this year I'm buying the ticket. I'll do what I can. I know the first day, Friday, I have some appointments. I'm just gonna, whatever, you know, things will happen or whatever. But I think it'll be fun to give it a try and give it a go. So I'm looking forward to that. And I know a lot of people have talked about them also attending Jingle Ball. So that will be a lot of fun. If you are going, let me know. I would love to know if you're going to be there as well. And that's pretty much where things stand right with that for the most part. So those are the plans coming up. There's a lot of plans. I have a lot for a person who doesn't plan. I have a lot of plans. So it's fun. But that is that part. So shopping. All I have is digital patterns to show you. And I didn't even shop on Black Friday yet. I haven't even looked to see what's for sales this weekend. I'm not sure I want to know. But I did do some fun shopping for some stuff. Okay, Megan, I don't think you watch my videos, but if you do, don't watch anymore. I wanted to stitch this as a little Christmas ornament present. Megan and Liz recently got a cat, and I do have to, it's a tuxedo cat, so I do have to change the face a little bit because I want to make it look like Zelky, but I thought that was super cute to make an ornament for their tree. So I picked that up, and this is La Selva Designs. And when I was there, now this is a Yorkie, but Shamrock kind of looked like the Maltese Yorkie, kind of. This is because it's a white background, it's hard to see. There we go. I had to pick that up because that's kind of looks like my chamois. He when he would kind of hold his, well, when he had no teeth left, the tongue really kind of hung out, but the mouth would be open and the tongue would come out, and he kind of looked like that. So he started off black and white, which is kind of funny, and he ended up more beigey gray, which was kind of funny too. So I picked that up. So those are both from La Selva Designs. Then Karen, the Stitching Owl. If you haven't watched Karen, she's got some fabulous stitching. I'll link her down below. And she is an ornament queen. I'm telling you, she is. She's already done an ornament a week, a long time ago, and she's still doing the ornaments. It's fabulous. And I have a. She is so generous with her crafting that she makes, and I can't remember what she calls them, an ornament, and she sends it to different people as kind of like a little, crafting joy. And I forget what she calls them, and I have one of hers, and her work is exquisite. Stitching, finishing, the whole bit. So, but anyway, Karen is stitching a full coverage from Shirova Designs, and it's an owl, of course. She's the stitching owl. And so I always keep my eyes open, and again, okay, now we're starting back with the dragons. And again, I know the colors are different, but they were having a sale. And I had been looking at this one, and first, I'm really loving stained glass designs for full coverage. When I start these, I will tell you who the artwork is. I don't have that listed right here. I just know who the person is that's charted it. But there's the dragons. So again, it's as I go through my whole fourth wing phase, and I mean, there's going to be 5 books in the series, so we're going to be into dragons for quite some time. Now, this one, Connor, if you were watching, which sometimes my kids watch just because I don't know, not really sure, because every once in a while they make a reference to something I said, but Connor, if you're watching, go away. Connor is like the plant whisperer. I mean, seriously, it was funny because we had a Thai basil plant over the summer, and so he was making something for himself this week, and he said, oh, where's your Thai basil? Well, their Thai basil didn't make it because it was getting kind of scrawny and just growing up. And right away, he's like, oh, yeah, you're supposed to do this, this, and this with it. Said, well, a little too late now. We got rid of it. But anyway, I thought for Connor, for a Christmas ornament, because he happens to be a plant whisperer, I picked this piece up. I want to say this is from Daily Pattern Post. I'll link it down below. And it was on sale. I'm going to take one of these. I have to figure out the sizing of some of them. But I thought, wouldn't that be fun to do like a plant ornament? Because this kid is, like I said, a plant whisperer. Definitely, when there's a problem with a plant, goes down a rabbit hole, researches it, and can tell you kind of what to do or whatever. I almost wish, I mean, his major is, well, he's double majoring in psychology and sociology. He could have done something with the whole, is it horticulture? And I think he would have been brilliant at it too. But anyway, so I thought that would be kind of cool. So I do have to do some December stitching between those 2 pieces. We'll see. We'll see how well I do with that. It might be a, well, I've stitched it, but it's not finished kind of thing for Christmas. Then, so that was Daily Pattern Post. Then I was watching Lisa Lost in Stitches, and her most recent video, she talked about my designs. I said, oh boy, she is so good with color and threads, and she's amazing. And I said, oh, I can't wait to see what she does. She's put out 2 new designs on Etsy. I bought one because I was in a buying mode. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to save the other one for when I'm not buying a whole bunch of stuff. But I just couldn't help myself. So she's on Etsy as Lost in Stitches Designs, and this is called Winter Snow. Isn't that amazing? I just love it so much. So I had to buy it. I immediately went, after a video, I immediately went to Etsy, clicked her link, bought this right away. And then the other one is a set of 3, and they are also winter. And they kind of, the elements and the colors all go together. So you could easily buy both together and have like a set of 4 if you wanted to do like 4 pillows or some sort of mix and match sort of cohesive unit of stitching. So definitely I'll link her below. And This would be kind of cool with the small different pieces, potentially for trading cards and so on and so forth. Absolutely had to get it right away. Love it, love it. And she said that this was a seasonal thing. So super, super excited what other seasons will look like. I cannot wait to see what her other designs are. And then the very last thing I did was I went to Cross Stitch for Everyone. And currently right now, when I went to go look at these to put them on my photos, they were having a huge sale. I don't know if it's a Black Friday sale. So this is Friday morning on the 24th, Eastern Standard Time. And I might have to go and look now because this was before the sale started, but I had favored these and she had sent me a coupon for them. So of course, you know, I was like, I got to get them. But I showed you this, was it last video or the video before? This, again, stained glass look. I don't have any really, I know I take that back. I might have one Christmas full coverage started, but I just thought this was fun. I liked Santa and the reindeer, and I loved the stained glass look, so I picked that one up. And I have a Cross Stitch for Everyone, and I love her charting. It's big. It's so easy to see. Love it, love it. Then I couldn't help myself. It's another Christmassy one, but isn't it adorable? Just super, super cute. I want to say, I don't know if it's her. I think it's her. She has another one with this type of cow in like a field of lavender or something. It's super cute. So again, you might see more from me on that. And then one more dragon. Look at this. Isn't that amazing? I saw it and I said I had to get that. So I did pick up this dragon as well. I love all the colors. I just think it's going to be so cool. So that was the shopping that I did. I was definitely in a digital mode. And I'm going to, like I said, check out what's happening this weekend for sales because, you know, I can buy now and then I can just say, Mo, you bought me my Christmas presents already. You're all done. Because that's pretty much how we roll. He says, you choose, you get. And I say, thank you for the present. That was lovely. So anyway, that's what I have for shopping. So we'll see. I know, fingers crossed, like I said, my Fabrics by Stephanie order comes in because I would love to show you that. And I don't know, Bestitchme is supposedly, I don't know if they're shipping today or if they're not shipping till the beginning of next week. If they ship the beginning of next week, the fabric of the month, I don't think I'll have it by next week's video, but then I would have it for the following week. And I don't know when. I know under the Sea Fabrics, they did do a November fabric of the month. I don't know when that ships. So we'll see when that comes to. So there's a few things that are out there coming. I just have to actually wait for them. Alrighty. So giveaways. I did not have a giveaway last week. I decided to kind of take a little break. So thank you for being understanding about that. And then I was going through today and I thought, you know what? I'm going to do this one. I've stitched this. Well, I stitched part of it. I'm going to show you. And so I'd like to, so this has been used, but the chart is not marked in any way. It probably just, you know, it was unfolded, of course. This was before I was doing working copies, but I wasn't marking off. I was just kind of stitching. Now I like to make the working copy for everything and mark it off. It just, again, works in my brain better. But this is from Little House Needleworks, and it's Snow Cold, and it's adorable. I started this, again, probably, no, it was 2019, right? I came back to stitching. Did I say, yeah, did I say 2020? I came back to stitching in 2019. And I remember stitching this. I had brought it, we were early for one of Megan's field hockey games in the fall of 2019. And I remember stitching on this. And then it sat and sat and sat at one point. And I decided that I was just going to stitch part of it. And that's what I did. So I made this, I fully finished it last year, and I made it into an ornament. So if you look, that's what the original is. That's what I did. Super cute. I don't know the sizing on this. I don't have a ruler right here, but I think trading card, possibly, right? If I hadn't fully finished this as an ornament, I could have done something with it as a trading card. I'm not sure size-wise what it is, if it's a little too big or not. But anyway, so that's what I did. You can certainly stitch the whole thing if you would prefer, or you can stitch parts of it. You know I like to do that. This came from my Hirsch nursery, so I'll put that back. If you would like me to put your name in the bowl for this, I'm going to ask you to say the word cold. C-O-L-D. I don't think necessarily that word would come up in any comments. So we're going to go with that. And I will put your name in the blue bowl and I will pick a winner next time. Alrighty, so that is the giveaways and that is all of my stitching. If that's all you're here for, thank you for being here. I don't think I'll talk too much about life. There's not much to talk about. And I'll let you get going on to somebody else. But have a great week if you're heading out now. So this week, like I said, the weekend was kind of a prep for company being here, and but we were in pretty good shape. I had all of the Christmas trees up because I wanted to have that done, and I am so happy now because now I don't have to worry about it next week or anything. They are all up. The house is decorated as it's going to be. I am a less is more kind of person when it comes to that kind of stuff. My biggest knick-knacky thing is I for years and years, I haven't gotten any now much in the recent years, but for years and years we were collecting Dickens Village, and every year at least I would get something. There was a great Christmas shop in Portland, Maine, and we would go up to Maine almost every summer, and Mo and I would go up to Portland. We'd have dinner at 4th Street restaurant, which we loved, and then we would always go to this Christmas shop, and it's one of those, it's like you go down underneath the buildings to it, and it was just chock-a-block. And so every year I would get something, and if I didn't get something there, when I would take the kids up to Deerfield, Mass in the summer, I would go to the Yankee Candle flagship shop, and they of course have the Christmas room, right? And I would pick up something from there. So so that's as much knick-knacky as you're going to find with a lot of my decorations, although I do and I have a nativity sort of thing, but other than that, everything's pretty spread out. So I'm done. The trees are the biggest work for me, and the village stuff. I put the villages, I split it between the 4 trees and I put it underneath the trees, and that's how I display it. But so I'm done with all of that. Super excited, so I can like ease into December without a lot of stress. The kids are going to tell me what they want for Christmas. That's how I'm going to buy it. Mo and I kind of, we've long since 24 years of this, we've figured it out, right? So I'm going to enjoy this upcoming month, and I'm not going to stress about December and the holidays. I am just going to let it be. But I didn't have to do a ton of cleaning this weekend either, because we were in a really good place, and so that was great too. So that's when I got some good stitching in. We have a full house here right now, plus we also had there's some other family that's down in the area, cousins and aunts and stuff of Mo, and so we had a lovely visit one afternoon there. We went out to dinner one night. Obviously there was Thanksgiving. Yesterday morning, Mo and I were able to sneak out for a little while to the boardwalk at the beach. It was a beautiful day. I want to say at that point, it was 50 degrees and sunny. There was a breeze, but I'm telling you right now, I'm going to get through this winter, and I'm not going to need a lot of heat because I am definitely feeling it. And so it was lovely. I didn't even wear a jacket. I had a sweatshirt on, but it was so nice, all the fresh air, and it kind of reset because we had already done some baking, and then we went to the beach, and then we kind of tackled from there. And today is a leftover day, so I am hoping maybe to get some stitching in. I am not going anywhere out for shopping. I am by these outlets every other day of the year because they're literally 5 minutes from my house. So I don't need to go on the day after Thanksgiving. I can go whenever. And so I am just going to buckle in and enjoy and kind of enjoy the weekend. And then I'm looking forward, like I said, to Jingle Ball. But that's for next week's video. This week should be, I don't know. We're just going to take it as it comes as we finish up November. So that's really about it for life. I did have a lovely holiday. I was tired. I was really tired Wednesday night, actually. I think I went to bed at 9:30. I was just exhausted. And then it was a long day, but a nice day yesterday, and it's been a very nice holiday. In some ways, though, it'll be nice next week to get back to a regular routine because I am a creature of habit, so I am looking forward to that. I like to shake it up, and then I like to, for a short while, and then I like to kind of go back to my comfort, and then shake it up, and then go back. So I am kind of looking forward to that. But that's about it. I hope you, wherever you are in the world, however you had this week spent. I hope it was a wonderful week for you, and you got some time in for yourself, because as always, please think about yourself. Please take time for yourself, take care of yourself, and do something extra special for yourself if you can, every single day, because you matter, and what brings you joy matters quite a bit. So I guess that's about it. Let me know if you're going to be at Jingle Ball, and I'm super excited about that. And let me know if you'd like to join for some sort of full finish in 2024 kind of extravaganza. And that's about it. So until next time, happy stitching.